Now, MSNBC has sacked Ronna McDaniel from her role as a contributor just days after she was hired. It comes after a almighty meltdown from their online talent, including their chief disinformation peddlers, the propagandists like Rachel Maddow, Joy Reid and Nicole Wallace. But this was across the board, this tantrum. And I don't know why think they've got this massive victory. I mean, McDaniel was pretty much sacked as the RNC chair. She's not a favourite amongst the Republicans. So I don't think it's the scalp that they think it is.
Yeah, look, I'm not the biggest fan of Ronna McDaniel, right? I mean, she was a terrible head of the RNC. She lost essentially every election other than 2016, and that wasn't her. That was Trump who really won it. She was so obsequious to President Trump that she dropped the name Romney. Not her biggest fan, but I love these moments, Rita. They are so clarifying on where the media stands on these issues, right? Look, MSNBC employs somebody who's responsible for a modern day Jewish pogrom which led to the death of a Jew. The same guy, Al Sharpton, was responsible for a riot in New York that burned down buildings. This guy has his own show on MSNBC, Rita, okay? Jen Psaki was the literal mouthpiece for the Obama administration. Guess what? She has her own show. There are tons of people from the current administration that are employed by MSNBC. But God forbid they have somebody on their air who actually supports Trump. That's the irony of this thing, but I love it because it really reveals the truth of MSNBC and the mainstream media. I'm glad we have these moments so we can expose them for what they are.
Now, the White House has expressed disappointment after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu cancelled a visit by a top Israeli delegation to Washington after the US chose to abstain on a United Nations Security Council resolution calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. Relations between the two countries, Ami, they're not what they once were.
No, and look, I think I'm a truth teller. Wherever the truth takes me, the data takes me is kind of the position I will take. Look, Joe Biden, well, certainly as compared to President Obama, who was a terrible president when it came to Israel, who in the waning days of administration basically threw Israel under the bus, then backed the bus up over Israel. Compared to that, Joe Biden, when it came to the first few months of the war that Israel was waging against Hamas butchers, was pretty good, right? In deed and in word, he was supportive of Israel. And I have no real complaints when it came to how he defended Israel for those first few months. But man, how things have turned. Would you want to be Netanyahu coming to visit the Joe Biden administration after they abstained on a resolution that was so disgusting, that called for a unilateral ceasefire without the hostages, condemned Israel, did not condemn Hamas, but they couldn't vote against it. They couldn't veto that. They couldn't stomach a veto of that resolution. It was disgusting. You know you're wrong when you're on the same side as Hamas, Iran, and Hezbollah were cheering the U.S. decision to abstain. You know you made a wrong decision, a wrong turn somewhere when those guys are your cheering squad, right? Look, this has been a major issue, and in fact, what's happened is Hamas understood that now they have a new ally. Obviously, I don't think that Biden's looking to be their ally, but they're playing the Biden administration. The Hamas has now gone back to their original negotiating position because of this lack of a veto, because of this abstention. They're now saying that we want to keep control of Gaza, we want a complete withdrawal of Israeli forces, and we want all Hamas terrorists released in exchange for the hostages. They have gone back to their original position. We have lost ground because of the weakness of this administration and its now unwillingness to support Israel. And all for what? Is Biden really anti-Israel? No. What he's doing it for crass political purposes, for a few votes in Michigan. He has decided to throw his ally and stomp on him.
Ami Horowitz, thank you for your time this evening.
Always a pleasure.